All right, we are live, and welcome back to another Total OS Today live for this Saturday, January 26, 2019. I have a first-time guest, a special user, a Windows user who uses Linux, so he's just as demented as I am. I'm just kidding. He's a first-time victim, I mean guest on the show. We have Chris Titus from Chris Titus Tech. Everybody say hello. As soon as they jump in the chat, say hello to Chris Titus. How are you, Chris?
How's it going, guys?
So we do have something in common. Chris still uses Windows, not as much, same as me. Windows 10 is my backup OS. Self-taught Linux as I am. So we have quite a few things in common. We both like to enjoy and use Linux and learn other stuff. So for tonight, this will just be a, getting to know Chris and what he likes and what he doesn't like. Now, Chris is a master of what I call constipation thumbnails. Now, I'll give you an example. It'll be like ABC Linux Challenge Day 1, and then Day 3. Anyway, that's what I mean by constipation thumbnails. I've been there, done that, so Chris, I totally get it, you know. Hello, Benjamin. I am so awesome is in the house. Steve's very own Kenny and Yugi, Ricky. Yeah, I'll bring in some folks here in the chat here in a moment. Steve says, yeah, but you don't install Arch after a party. If you're drunk, you can. All right,
so a couple times.
All right, so Chris, I have to ask. So, what's the percentage of Windows and Linux users? Like, do you use like 90% in Linux, 10% in Windows, or what do you do?
I went an entire month without booting into Windows lately.
Okay.
So that does not include, as a systems admin, I have done various trickery to kind of get around that, to where I would either boot up a VM or I would boot up an entire server instance and use like XenApp, which is an enterprise level thing, and just pipe a Windows app directly onto my Linux desktop when it's actually running on a Windows machine. So I don't know. There's some trickery I've done to get around the basic Windows usage.
Got it. Now, Chris does what I used to do. Chris is a distro hopper. So I need to give Chris the name of my Italian doctor, Dr. Louis Bendova, because there's a lot of pain and learning when you go from distro to distro, as Chris fully understands. But it's all good for the quest for knowledge. I don't distro hop as much after 9 years and 2,000 videos. Yeah, I kind of learned my lesson, as it were. Now, I will distro test, obviously, something new or something like a new flavor. But I pretty much stuck with Ubuntu or Ubuntu based. Now, Chris, we chatted briefly before we went live. We kind of agreed as a family, as a community, that we need an alternative to Windows 10, a low-cost alternative starting off for about $400 for a Linux desktop for the masses. Kind of like Chromebooks start at about $200 or something like that. So we kind of thought Ubuntu because they've got the resources. Do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any hardware coming into the field, it's nice to just see, like, Purism has some stuff, and System 76, and those guys are creating some Linux hardware, but it would be nice to see more mainstream hardware come out, but it's just hadn't happened yet, you know.
Okay.
And it's nice to see Canonical making a push towards that, and a couple other, I think, players in the field are starting to do it as well. So I'm kind of looking forward to this year. It's going to be a big year for Linux for sure.
I'll have to get you on the next Ubuntu show, maybe next weekend if you have time. I did one last. I'm going to try and do these for like different time zones to try to get more people to chime in. But if you're free, maybe next weekend, I'll let you know. It'll be during the day, either Saturday or weekends are good for me right now. So, but yeah, it'd be great to have another person in who's into Linux as much as I am and still uses Windows, so understands the pros and cons of each. What's your daily driver now when it comes to Linux, Chris?
Right now is Manjaro, but it depends on where I'm at. If I'm at work, it's Arch, and my laptop is also Arch.
Wow.
And then Manjaro is my home PC, and then I have about 8 different computers kind of situated around, but those 3 I use the most. So heavy into Arch. I really, when I found Arch, I really liked a lot of the simplicity behind a lot of the build processes using the AUR.
Mm-hmm.
As long as qualify it, get on their wiki and actually look, hey, is this the
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
depreciated or outdated package before using the AUR? Obviously, don't blindly use it, but
Yeah.
after you
Sure.
learn the ins and outs, it makes installing apps just
Yeah. Once
snap.
you know. Hmm.
Yeah,
A couple of years ago, I did a poll for the channel. Pick the best Linux distro, and it doesn't necessarily have to be for newbies. And they picked Arch. I get it. It's great for power users, complete control. It's not for newbies, but I totally get it. For newbies, I would still probably pick Ubuntu based, Ubuntu Mate, Linux Mint, Peppermint, and all that.
yeah.
Uh, my friend
I
Timo
use
says, by the way, Chris Titus is definitely awesome. There you go. I love
thank you, sir.
typos, Chris. Benjamin says, I've been following Christ for a bit. I wouldn't compare Chris to Christ, but maybe he's a nice guy.
Hey, I've been called the digital Jesus before.
Oh, there it is. Oh, there you go. But Benjamin loves Arch for the same reasons. Yeah, I've tried Arch based. I haven't had good luck. So for now, I think I'm done. Yeah, I know it's a typo, Benjamin. Yeah, I know what you meant, but you made me laugh, so thank you. But yeah, I think it's time for a national or a universal global, Linux desktop for the masses. I think Canonical has the resources. They got the talent. They are profitable. They have a stable desktop. And even though that GNOME is not necessarily my favorite desktop environment, I gotta admit, it's stable. It looks nice, it looks polished, and I think GNOME with a few extensions to make it more friendly, like, Chris, for example, Dash to Panel, I think is one extension, where I like everything at the top versus the side, and you know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah, I mean the dash to
Or at the
panel.
bottom, yeah.
The thing I don't like about GNOME, especially GNOME 3, is its default layout. Obviously, it's a little bit,
Yeah,
yeah, just not very intuitive
it's not for
in my
everybody.
opinion.
Totally agree, right.
And a lot of times I'm doing a lot of modifications to get it to
Hmm.
look how I want, where something out of the box, whether it's Cinnamon, KDE, all those kind of a little bit more friendly as far as my normal look and feel. But I've been a Windows user for 15 plus years, so I guess that's to be expected.
Hmm.
If I had to choose one desktop environment I love the most, it's probably XFCE. It's just
Hmm.
so clean and just minimal, and it just works. So
That's why I like the
XFCE is
Mate. It's
awesome.
clean and
Yeah.
easy also. Yeah. Um, I did a live show one time from Ubuntu when they switched. I think it was 17.10 with GNOME. And for me to make it more user friendly for me, I think I installed close to 10 extensions. But then I thought, okay, now time out. What about for the mom and pops, for the masses? Do they really need 10 extensions? They really don't. Two or three out of the box that have been pre-tested that work and no glitches is probably going to be enough. I mentioned Dash to Panel, where everything is at the top or at the bottom, and maybe like a few others. Really, all you need for that new person to get used to something based off of Linux, such as Ubuntu. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, Omega Beast, Caesar A. Mugen. Yeah, it's I think it's time now. Chromebooks, people are, we're commenting, well, how can you have Linux as a standard? There's so many, distros and package man. That's true. But Google has proven that Linux as a standard works with Chromebooks. That's why they sell. You know, the Pixelbook has been described as flawless. That's a big statement for a Linux machine that's, you know, I think it runs about $1,000 or more brand new. So the opportunities, the potential for Linux for everybody is out there. But you have to make it virtually bug-free out of the box because people, mom and pops, families, they don't have time to fix things. I don't blame them.
Well, I
They
mean,
want to plug it in, log in, go.
so one thing, I'm a little bit biased when it comes to this because
Hmm.
working on Linux servers, I've almost, as I've gotten into the desktop portion, I've only really been part of the Linux desktop community for a couple months, not very long at all. And one thing I'm seeing is there's this big disconnect between the business Linux world and the, more
Yeah.
residential
Hmm. Yeah.
desktop
Hmm.
environment. And there's this big disconnect
Yeah.
because Linux has always been super stable. When I wanted something stable for business, I always used Linux. So when someone says, well, Linux is buggy or it doesn't work quite right, it's cringing. I'm just like,
For
what?
the desktop,
No.
for the business for service, it's a plus. But for the desktop in general, I'm talking strictly distros that you download, it's not as a whole.
I
As a
mean,
whole, yeah.
Ubuntu is pretty solid right now. I
But
mean,
we're narrowing it down.
yeah, true,
We're
true,
not,
true.
we're
Yeah, as a
not
whole,
we're not saying
there's
all 500
yeah,
distros or offshoots are good. No, we're saying maybe 10 are
yeah,
solid.
yeah. There's
That's what I
probably
mean
10.
by those are buggy.
Yeah,
But okay, good.
yeah. I'm on the same page with you.
That's what I was getting at. So when a new user, one of our friends, DT, DistroTube, he did a video. He said, folks, will you please stop giving your families Arch to try out for Linux the first time or something? You know, you can't expect them to learn or to stick with something like that. You know, it's the wrong Linux. And if you give someone the wrong Linux to try, of course they're going to say it sucks. That's an unfair statement, but whose fault is it? You for giving them the wrong distro or them for trying the wrong distro, you know? So when people say
Yeah.
Linux sucks, time out. Which one did you try? Well, I tried Gentoo the first time. Oh, geez, you know.
Oh
But if
man,
you
that's
say
probably just some
Ubuntu, and I said,
nice
well,
fun.
which Ubuntu? Was it an LTS, a non-LTS? Did you check the MD5? Well, what's that? All right, time out again. Here was, you know, there's a lot of ways to hash this out. But Windows 10 is ready to go. It isn't like, okay, now when you buy Windows 10, there are only certain printers that work with Windows 10. Ain't gonna happen. You try a Linux distro, only certain printers are probably going to be easy to install, at least in my test. For a national desktop, that has to be eliminated. Just about almost all the printers have to work, or almost, yeah, you know, to make it easier for the mom and pop who don't have time to go into a terminal to add a PPA or fix this, you know what I mean? I don't blame them, you know. But that being said, Linux does have potential. For the consumer market, is Windows 10 more stable? Meaning, is it easier to install, you know, drivers and printer drivers and graphics? Yeah, because that's what you're paying for.
Well, I mean, honestly, I disagree with that point. I'd say Linux is far easier out of the box. So a lot of people don't understand that this is kind of moving that way. How they're both fundamentally operated and actually designed is Windows is using this archaic thing where you're installing drivers to make things work, where Linux, it's all baked into the kernel. And the kernel, some people have been complaining in the Linux community that's being bloated, but that's driver compatibility that's getting
Yeah.
baked in.
Yeah.
AMD drivers are getting baked in. These are big things. These are huge developments. Like I said, 2 years ago, I tried Ubuntu and I was like, no, this isn't going to work for me. And I tried it 3 months ago and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, it's
There's
gotten
been
better.
huge strides, huge development things, and nobody is really, people are just minimizing it. And I'm like, no, Linux is happening, whether people like it or not. In 2019, people are going to see a huge difference as far as how adoption is happening.
It's better, absolutely, yeah.
It's going off, man. And
That's
people
why
are
I
going,
said it's
oh, no,
time.
it's just the same old, same old. That's BS.
It's not. No,
Yeah.
that it's not. But for my past test and from what people are telling me, graphics drivers are hit and miss and printer drivers are hit and miss.
Yeah.
And that has to be eliminated if you're going to buy a Ubuntu desktop out of the box.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like just to address that, like AMD drivers right now are being baked in with kernel 4.21 coming out from Linux. A lot of the FreeSync, all the basic functionality and also advanced functionality will be there for AMD cards. And Intel cards are already, you know, the integrated graphics are already there. The big issue here is the NVIDIA market or the NVIDIA proprietary drivers that people are installing. Those are going to continue kind of be a thorn in our side, so to speak, and kind of cause some of these issues because, you have to, go download this package, and then you got to explain the difference between DB packages and RPMs and if it'll work with your actual Linux kernel. And that's
There you
where
go.
you lose some new people. And that's I see where you're coming from.
Right.
And,
So when people say
yeah.
it sucks, that if they say it sucks because of that, then I get it. But I think for the person who says that, you can't be generalizing Linux that it's all bad. Well, some of it might be a headache, but not all of it, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's totally gotten better. That's why I thought this year it should be the start of the year of the Linux desktop at least. But you know, we'll see. And this is a Windows user saying it and another Windows user saying it. So
Yeah.
can we both be wrong? I suppose, but I doubt it.
Well, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've, been in the Windows community for a long time and working on Windows. So I wouldn't have a career without Windows.
Right.
I love that fact, but the thing is, Windows has gotten worse over the past 8 to 10 years. I don't even know how that's possible, but they're so far ahead that Linux has pretty much caught up.
Well,
There's not
yeah.
very much left, and also a lot of things that people are missing as well is a lot of applications where you had to have Windows to run that application. Well, a lot of that's being pushed out to the cloud and hosted through a website when it comes to businesses. So a lot of your line of business apps are no longer tied to Windows. So your doctor's offices, your real estate firms, all these other places are starting to just go on the website to
Mm-hmm.
use their regular old
Mm-hmm.
software.
Right.
Why would you use a Windows machine to go on a web page? Doesn't make any sense. So,
Yeah.
Linux, when I say there's adoption, it's not necessarily the mom and pops out there that are going to be doing it. There's a big play in the business side that's probably going to carry the mom and pop side into the Linux field. And I think that's a big miss that a lot of the Linux community, I don't think, has recognized yet.
I think on the business side for servers, there might be a Linux quality standard. I guess there has to be, or else they probably wouldn't use it.
Right. Yeah. It's,
For
it's pretty much rock
consumers,
solid on
the
that.
only Linux standard I see for consumers right now are Chromebooks, in my opinion,
Yeah.
from what I've seen. We
I'd
don't
agree
have it
with
for
that.
desktop, at least not, you know, that $400, that's the sweet spot. It really is. Now, the machine doesn't have to be a beast with, 16 gigs of RAM, and you don't need that. A solid built Linux machine, whoever wants to build it with built-in Ubuntu, quad core, 4 gigs of RAM is plenty. A non-gaming machine. Um, yeah, Mark says Ubuntu was buggy. Now, see, that's the thing that we talked about a Linux standard. Back in Ubuntu 16.04, Chris,
Yeah.
I had it on 2 machines. I talked about this is the best freaking Ubuntu I've ever tried. It just worked. My other friends came on. What are you talking about, Todd? This is the worst buggy. So now what? But if we had a standard, you know, fragmentation may be the seed of innovation, but it's not the seed of stability.
Yeah.
So, so yeah. So, Chris, we have a lot of guests in the chat. We have my friend Sleepy from Australia. He's into kangaroo stuff.
How's it going, Sleepy?
Welcome. So that's where we're at. Me and Chris kind of agree that Windows 10 is not as fun as Windows 7. Windows 10 has gotten bloated more than it needed to be. Even though it works, it's just not as fun. And the updates, was it last week? I had a 4-hour update, multiple reboots in Windows 10. That's not fun. I've never had that much to do in Linux in any, even a full install and update. It never took me 4 hours. And that's one of the advantages of a stable Linux desktop.
Yeah, and there's been some true horror stories when it comes to Windows updates. I mean, I
Absolutely.
have a personal couple, but I know one guy had it on his laptop. He was going to a presentation, was on the flight, and for whatever reason, right before he was entering into airport mode, it decided to go ahead and run updates and said, "Hey, you can't turn off your computer." So what was he going to do? He was like, "All right, I guess I'll just shut the laptop lid and pray." And that's what he did. And by the time his plane, landed, he just sat there and it just died on him. And he had a
You know,
non-bootable system from it. And I'm like,
Windows,
yeah, that's horrible.
Microsoft didn't really botch the technology. They botched the politics. They messed up the policies. Because Windows 7 is solid, is a solid piece of technology without the bloat. And that's why people are still holding on to Windows 7. But Windows 10, I'm like, what are you guys thinking? You know. So
Funny
I would have,
thing
yeah,
about Windows 7, though,
yeah,
was when Vista came out, everyone remembers, if you're an early adopter of Vista,
yes,
it
yeah,
was really buggy. And then
yes,
after several service packs, it
yes,
became pretty stable, but
yes.
people had already been burned. And this is
Yes.
a good chance of marketing. And what they Microsoft
Yes.
went and did was they created something called the Mojave project. And what that did was it reskinned Vista. Didn't change anything. It just reskinned it. And everyone's like, this is incredible. We love this. So then they were like, oh, okay. So what they did was took Vista's kernel and just reskinned most of it. And that's how Windows 7 came about. It was nothing more than that. So a lot of people don't realize Windows 7 is pretty much Vista, just with all the fixes in it, which is kind of funny because I always hear, like, I saw like a Linus Tech Tip video pop up in my feed and it's like, hey, Vista, was it really that bad? And I was like, oh God, I don't know if I want to watch this video. It's too cringy, but I did. And, at the end of it, I
Well,
forget what his conclusion was, but I
well,
don't think I actually made it through the whole thing.
okay. Well, Vista, the
But
launch, they kind of botched it. But
yeah,
once you had enough RAM, and not by that I'm saying, hey, your machine is Vista compatible with 512 megabytes of RAM. Really? Really, Microsoft? So anyway.
yeah.
Uh, Windows 8. I actually kind of liked Windows 8 when it first came out because it was so radical. I'm like, man, looks cool. But then the Windows
No,
10 and then
no, not
yeah,
8, man. I'm
yeah.
hanging up right now.
Well, I had to install the Start menu
Blasphemy.
extension though. I had to do that. But yeah. But yeah, Windows 10 is not as fun as what they could have made it. So people are looking for alternatives that won't cost $2,000 like an Apple computer, and that's where Ubuntu needs to get in that market. I can be the spokesperson. The guy from New York. Hey, try Ubuntu. Anyway.
So, yeah, so kind of the funny thing about a lot of the desktop market is nobody really cares about desktop computers anymore.
Hmm.
Much of the desktop market is dead and it's a dying industry. So, what has happened is most of the Linux business models, you go to SUSE or Red Hat, and they're kind of focusing solely on business, which is probably a good
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
because the desktop market itself, there's a little bit of money to be made there for sure, but
yes.
it's
Hmm.
not. It's not a viable long-term solution because most people, your grandma's going to be just pulling up her phone or her iPad to pay her bills or
Sure.
those types of things. So
Right.
desktops, I think, um, they're kind of a dying technology as
Um,
far as most average day users. You just
I
something that's
partially
really
agree with
tapered
that,
off.
but the stuff that we do and many others do don't want to do this on a phone. You can't really on a phone. I guess you could on a
Yeah,
phone or
I would
you
never
want
trade my desktop.
right. So there is still a market. I think there's enough of a market for a desktop if it's profitable, but the real profit comes in gaming PCs. So if mom and pop buy a $400 Ubuntu desktop, they take it home and it's all that it's been promised to be. It's twice as fast, updates are twice as fast, no bugs, it's solid. Now Junior wants a gaming computer. Now you Ubuntu can say, okay, you started off with the basic model for $400. Now the gaming PC is at least $800 or higher. More profit, Junior's happy, and there's your profit as a company. But you need to start off somewhere. So you start off as a base, something simple. Even without a disk drive is fine, you know.
Yeah,
But it has to be bug free out of the box right away because you'll never get a second chance to make a good first impression. So,
yeah, I probably should have clarified and said residential desktops in there.
mhm.
So I saw a comment saying, "Hey, corporate desktops." You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Corporate is not going to be trading in desktops
Yeah.
anytime soon for iPads. I
No,
meant
we're
to say,
talking mom and pop. Yeah. At
mom
home.
and
Yeah.
pop
Yeah.
sitting, coming home, sitting in front of a computer. That's kind of a dying thing. Now, laptops, I think, is held pretty steady. You've seen a little bit of a dip, but not
Mhm.
nearly as bad as the old desktop. And that's kind of just to clarify.
Right. Well, I think also, once people are happy with their inexpensive Ubuntu computer, now you got to have a laptop to match it. So there you go. Now you branch into your laptop. What about the Ubuntu tablet? See, there's ways to market things down the line, but you got to plant that seed. And that seed to me is a $400 Ubuntu desktop, just a base machine that's solid as a rock. Updates are like this, and not waiting, being forced, to install updates or reboot. It comes down to I guess it comes down to less headaches for a consumer when they buy something.
Yep.
At least that's how I see it as a consumer. Like if I buy something, I don't want to buy it. Like if I bought a new Windows 10 machine, I'm like, oh, I'm not looking forward to the updates. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
the update
Yeah.
process. Now I did have, of course, last fall. You know about the updates. One of the updates deleted all your files and kept your folders.
Yeah,
You remember
Windows
that?
Update 1809. The first one did it. The second
Okay.
iteration, when they said, "Oh, this one doesn't," and then they're like, "Oh, just kidding, it does." And then they
Yeah.
did a third version where they actually learned from their mistakes and started doing serial
Okay. Okay.
relaunches, where they just put it out a little bit at a time to see what would happen. I'm like,
Well,
eek,
that was
what a
bad. And then I
black
had a
eye.
comment. You'll never see that. At least Linux doesn't delete your files. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Au contraire, mon ami. Yes, it does. It happened to me in Ubuntu 14.04, I think. I installed it. Now, I back up everything, so it's not that big of a deal. But I got
What do
up.
you use for your backup software? Just a curiosity.
I don't use soft. I use external hard drives.
Yeah, but what do you use to actually do it, like an image of your system?
You know what? I was using disks. Maybe I should stop doing that. But external drives.
Okay, yeah, like I usually use like time shift, or what type of software are you actually using to push it to those disks is what
Oh, I
kind
see what you mean.
of,
No, no, I
yeah.
don't. I don't back up the image in Linux,
Okay.
or the. No, I back up just my, videos, documents. I see what you mean. I don't do the whole thing. I don't use stuff like time shift or anything like that.
Okay, I got you.
I just don't. If it crashes, it crashes. Because I backed up all my files.
I
And
got
just
you.
reinstall the system. That's how comfortable I feel with Linux. It's probably not the recommended way to do, but I have multiple machines, multiple laptops. I use ThinkPads, if I have to, like if this went kafooey. But Linux is, well, certain Linux desktops can be stable, like Ubuntu Mate. That's what I use now. But yeah, I think the latest Linux Mint was pushing make sure you run time shift and backup and this is nah, more work, I don't want it. I mean if I got to do more work, I might as well go back to Windows.
Well, I mean, time shift's pretty sweet. I just did a video on that, and it's
Okay.
kind of cool. You set it and forget it kind of thing. And I have multiple hard drives in my system, so I have this giant 6 terabyte as I use for
Ah,
a data drive. You could use an external; you don't need that built in.
yeah. Hmm.
And then you just set it up all your time shift to do that. And then if I run into a problem, because I'm constantly tweaking, trying to make YouTube videos, doing a lot of these tutorials, I know I'm going to break something, and I do quite
Okay.
often. And
Okay.
it's so nice just to, oh, okay,
Okay.
cool, just go Control Alt
Got it.
F2, and then just time shift this restore
So
point.
you use
And
external drives.
no,
You don't.
yeah,
You
I
probably
have all
should.
those built into my system. I have 8 hard drives in this beast
Oh,
I'm
I
sitting
see.
on,
Okay. Okay.
and then I have an entire FreeNAS thing running
Ah,
FreeBSD and all that out in the
okay.
garage
Got it.
with an entire ZFS array, and then I do labs on top of that. So I
Hmm.
do a lot of virtualization using. Right now, I have it all built in Zen Server, but I've used VMware and other things
Okay.
like that in the past. So I can get. I've tried to dumb a lot of my stuff down on my channel, so I don't go too far in the weeds. So some of my videos, I try and pull that back, because a lot of me likes to over explain,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, okay, shut up, nope, pull
Hmm.
it back, come on,
Yeah.
nobody cares about this. And
Hmm.
then you
It's
know
it's easy to get over technical in Linux. It really
yes,
is. Yeah,
yes, it
and
is very
I
easy.
haven't. I try to avoid that. I don't distro hop as much as I used to. In fact, very little. I'll distro test, but it'll be off a USB stick or a separate machine. So if it crashes, there's nothing in there to really back up. You know what I mean? It was a separate hard drive. In this desktop, I have the original Windows 10 on the hard disk drive and Ubuntu Mate on a solid state drive. So it's two separate drives.
Hmm.
But I mean, as far as time shift and I think that's another one that's pretty good. I think it's called backups, something like that. Backup. I think it's in Ubuntu. I'm sure those are fine, but I don't do it. I'm not recommending you guys watching don't do that. But for me, I'd rather just back up all my files, documents, whatever videos, whatever I have, and if it crashes, just reinstall it. But that's me. I'm
Yeah.
not saying you do that. But I have multiple machines to continue moving on. So.
Yeah, and also I think you're probably running an LTS release with what you're using with Ubuntu. So with that, you don't have to worry nearly as much. It's not like
Yeah.
an update's going to come through and just bork you. Where I'm on an Arch-based system, and I can update
That's cutting
every
edge.
couple
Yeah.
days if I
Yeah.
want,
Right.
and
But that's cutting
you
edge. You might
can
get
get
cut.
burned.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I will not
Yeah.
use that in main production. Just to have fun with it and test. Yeah. But not on the main machine. So, um, Sleepy from Australia got burnt by Windows System Restore. Really? Okay. I haven't used System Restore in a long. I haven't used Windows full time in a long time either. So yeah. Doctor 66, nice to see you too after a while. Welcome. White Chocolate's in the house. Tenetro P 328 in the UK. Wow, thank you for staying up. Um, all right, Chris, how about if we get just a few guests here in the? I know you need to leave here in about what he said, about a half hour.
Yeah,
Around
yeah,
11. You have the kids. Okay.
yeah. Put them down.
Let's get. I'll tell you what. Let's get two people in here. Sleepy, do you want to join? Sleepy and Steve. Steve's very own uses specifically peppermint. I think he's testing Ubuntu, so we get another potential Ubuntu user in the house. Steve, do you want to join? Just say yes or no. And Sleepy, do you want to join? And again, check out Chris Titus Tech here on YouTube. I did like your somewhat advanced video on terminal commands.
Yeah, I got some slack on that. I mean, that was
Really?
I should have probably put core commands time 2.
Oh,
It was like
wow.
history. I mean, these weren't
Oh, is
really
that what
advanced per se, but yeah, I got a couple.
I see their point.
college
It's not really
I was
for newbies,
I was
but I'm
like,
not a newbie
yeah,
anymore.
not really
Okay.
advanced, but
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You
know.
do both advanced and newbie stuff, right?
Yeah, it
so-
doesn't matter to me. So
All
it
right,
could be
Steve, there
advanced
you
or
go. And
new.
let's get Sleepy Eyes Vince from Australia, mate. All right, there you go. So we'll get two people in. That way we don't overload Chris here. Chris is a family man with, I guess, a couple kids.
Yep,
Nice.
a boy and a girl.
Nice. I have one boy, but he's now a teenager with his own car, so I don't have to watch over him as much, So gives me a little bit more freedom, All right, Sleepy and Steve, check your emails for the link. But yeah, check out Steve's very own. If you guys are into peppermint or curious, I've tested peppermint. It's awesome. I might reinstall it, but check out Steve's very own. He's the pep guy. We have Vicky LaFleur is in the house. You're the new guy. Hello, Mr. LaFleur. How are you? Always great to have new people here in the chat. Easy Nix says, Chris, I'd like to see you do videos on the FreeNAS setup. Well, there you go.
I've actually already done 3, so you can actually
okay.
look at my playlists on my channel, and I'll link it in the chat here. But you can go through the setup, install, all that. I think it was 11.1 or 11.2 when I did those, so it's pretty awesome.
Okay.
I love FreeNAS. There's nothing bad I have to say about it.
Nice. Anthony says he just started watching you, Chris, and thoroughly enjoying it. Favorites were the real reasons why you're leaving Linux is setting up gaming on Linux. Okay. Well, I'm waiting for the day where Linux gets its own version of Halo and the Master Chief. Then I knew Linux has arrived from gaming. Until then, it's getting better. Yeah. Hey, Vince.
Hi, TOS. Nice to meet you, Chris.
Nice to meet you.
I just found your channel.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
We found, I used to do like monthly polls, pick the Linux YouTuber, or just pick a YouTuber of the month, not necessarily about Linux. And this community has found a lot, including a person who's not a Linux person. Her name is Stephanie Forian. She's a Mac user, but she's an independent singer-songwriter from Boston. Great talent. I've had her on the show. But this community is great for picking talent. So, I haven't done those polls. Maybe I should start those polls again, But,
Have you been using your community tab very much?
some. Yes, I have, yeah. Have you?
I just started, so I've only
I
done
have.
about 2 or 3 posts on there this month, and that's been about it. So for the last couple times, so
Okay. Bob, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Kind of you. Let's see here. Steve says, I'll be right there. Hangouts doesn't work in Firefox. Jeez, Steve. I thought you were the expert here. Okay, as you can see, we usually have professionals on the show, but not tonight. No, just kidding.
Well, I haven't been using Linux that long. I'm not a content creator. So I don't know how. I don't know how I'm
Uh,
here.
yeah. Paula Wells, she
Oh,
has it. Yeah, Stephanie does have. In fact, I'm going to give our friend Stephanie a shout out. She's a hard worker. She actually works in Germany, of all places. And I'm going to put her. Chris, if you haven't, check her out. She's an independent singer songwriter.
yeah.
She's a true talent. She's the real deal. Really is. Let me put it here. It's stephanieforian.bandcamp.com. Hope I got that right. Yeah, Stephanie Forian, and you can check her here on YouTube. She writes her own stuff, does a few covers. I had her do a concert for us it was August. She came on for about 3 hours, and I was crossing my fingers they would like her because the music, like you just don't know if they're gonna like it or hate it. But it went well, so so check her out, and if you like her songs, help her out and buy a few CDs there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Um, they Yeah, ThinkPads play very well with Linux. At least, have you messed with ThinkPads, Chris?
Yeah, I've touched pretty much everything before I got into doing servers full time. Before about 2008, I did all residential. Well, not residential, but more small business, where I was touching a lot of PCs. So pretty much any kind of or any type of computer I've dealt with and disassembled and reassembled. So I've seen a little bit of everything.
Yeah, where I live here, this is not really a technology city where I live. I'm about 30 miles away from Pittsburgh in a small town. This is Dean Martin country. This is where Dean Martin was born. So if I mention Dean Martin, everybody knows Dean Martin. But if I mention Linux, they're like, so I'm in the wrong place. But if I was to show it to them, you know, maybe I should ask the library, like if I could use one of their like little rooms to give like a free lesson on Linux just to see, maybe this spring or something. Maybe that might be a thought, just to say, okay, I know you think Linux is blah, 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 but here, turn this on and you figure it out, and I'll give them like Ubuntu Mate, and put the panel at the bottom like Windows 10. Just click menu. I'm sure they'll figure it out. You know.
That's
Good
a pretty good
evening.
idea.
We have Mr. Pepman himself.
How you doing, Steve?
Hello, Vince. Hello, Chris.
How's it going?
Okay, and good evening, Carmine.
Good evening. So, what's new?
Well, I figured I'd throw Ubuntu on another laptop.
Oh,
give
and
your. Well, I had to go to my other laptop because I didn't install Google Chrome on
okay,
Ubuntu, so Firefox wouldn't work
right,
with
okay,
Hangouts.
okay. But putting
So-
that aside, what do you think initially of Ubuntu? And I know you probably haven't messed with extensions yet, but putting that aside,
yet.
what do you think?
Well, what I liked was, a typical installer, but it installed less than 15 minutes. But the setup, I liked, the inclusion of your, different accounts right off the bat, and the look. It's all right. As Chris was saying earlier, the layout of GNOME is really different. I'm so used to my XFCE and Peppermint and that that I just know what to do. With GNOME, it's a little bit different.
I will tell you this. I know what you mean, Steve. Once you play with it, like, regularly, it's not that hard. Like Chris was saying, it's not really that intuitive, as opposed to like, my Ubuntu Mate, just click menu, drop down, and boom, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But with a few extensions, I would install Dash to Panel, which I think you'll like. And maybe there's an extension for categories. I forget what that's called. You need to go to gnomeextensions.org or gnome.extensions or extensions.gnome.org, something like that, But that's what I would do, Steve. And if you install just a couple extensions to make it more like Peppermint per se, but maybe like a drop-down menu, I think you'll enjoy it more.
Uh-huh.
If I wasn't able to install at least some extensions, I probably wouldn't use it. But once I installed those extensions, now I can use it, not every day because it's more for a testing laptop. But you know what? I'm enjoying it more, and it does work. and it's stable, and it looks sharp. You know, the default fonts, colors, it looks good, Steve. It really does, in my opinion. That's why, you know, I just said, you know, make Ubuntu the national desktop. Yes, thank you, Chris. Extensions.gnome.org. Yeah.
Just to add to that.
Also, I'll put this in here too. Sorry to butt in, but
Yeah.
this is a GNOME Layout Manager. It's a script that I forked on GitHub and updated. And if you have GNOME 3, I don't really like its layout. And if you
Yeah.
run this script, it'll go ahead and install every extension for you. Go ahead and adjust it. So if you're more familiar with Windows-based layouts, you can just click Windows and hit
Yes.
OK, and it'll just do it all for you. It'll install upwards of 10. You know, you can actually look at all the source code. It's all there on GitHub. But you can either do a git clone and just type that address in. It'll pull it all in and just do it. It's super slick. So if you're using, you know, vanilla GNOME 3 and you don't like it, run that and it'll just take care of it for you.
Just keep in mind with Ubuntu, if we have any newbies with Ubuntu, when you start installing extensions, Ubuntu really doesn't recommend it. It could bork the system. Just fair warning. It may or may not. Alan Pope, Chris, he's a developer or a maintainer for the snap packages for Ubuntu. He was telling right now they only have 1 or 2 extensions by default, I think, that they don't recommend you installing other extent because it may, you know, screw up the system. Just fair warning. It may or may not, I don't know. But if you install extensions and it breaks the system, don't say that Ubuntu sucks. Maybe the extension wasn't compatible with it. The extension sucks. Fair enough. You know, but don't say that Linux, the Ubuntu Linux, because it doesn't. It really doesn't in my multiple tests. So
on that script, the original one, I actually did have it lock up on me a couple times, and I had to do a reboot. However, even during that, a hard reboot, it came back up just fine. So even if it fails in the middle, you should be fine. It's not doing anything crazy with your system or any system file. So
yeah, I do everything through GNOME Tweaks.
Yeah,
the Tweaks tool, and you can turn those off and delete them from there. I do believe so. It's, you know, it could make it unusable, your system, but look, anything's possible, you know. But I like testing Ubuntu standard. I really do enjoy it. It's in my Toshiba that stays in my garage. Like if I'm cleaning the car, or, you know, whatever, I'll pop the. It has those Harman Kardon speakers, and that laptop. And most laptop speakers are horrible, but this one rocks. I mean, rocks relatively speaking, you know. So that's why I use that. Do the updates in Ubuntu. Make sure it's stable. It is, and I listen to my smooth jazz radio out of California, you know. So, see, we need an Ubuntu radio station. I'm not sure what kind of music we would have. You know. We need like Ubuntu Rocks or something, you know.
I think Brian Lunduk would just roast you for loving Ubuntu as much as you do.
I like Brian.
Hates Ubuntu, man.
Yeah,
you
I don't know why.
Around him, he'll freak out.
He said one time, what did he say? Linux dual booters are schmucks.
Yeah.
I knew what he
hard,
meant.
Man.
Translated, it means that that's not the best way to test Linux, but I know what he meant. You can safely do it with some distros. You can, but obviously a separate machine or a separate hard drive. But I know what he meant. Yes, Paula says Ubuntu sings the blues, the ones that's unstable. Yes, I think Ubuntu rocks. I think maybe like an AC/DC song. Ubuntu shook me all night. Okay, maybe not. Or wait. Oh, wait. This is Dean Martin country, so everybody loves Ubuntu sometimes. And that's true. That would not be a lie.
I think I just proved I'm a schmuck because I last night I tried to put Ubuntu dual boot onto a USB that I had. I stuffed it up, so I have to go and fix it.
Well, it's that's what I have a Toshiba satellite, Mark. Yeah, an old one that had Windows Vista that I got working with Ubuntu. So and it works. Chris needs to leave here in about 15 minutes. So I'm not going to have any more people come on to jump on just to keep it simple for tonight. But maybe next time when Steve has more time, maybe next weekend. I mean, Chris, if you want to.
Yeah, I'll see what I got going on. I
Yeah.
think it's my wife's birthday weekend, so I might not jump on
No,
for that.
I've been there, done that. I'm single now, but I completely family first.
Yeah.
Yes, family first. So Linux user, yeah, it's just my other two guests for tonight, and that's it. So
Chris, may I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
You mentioned timeshift earlier.
Yeah.
You use it quite extensively. Do you find there's any performance hint in your system?
No, I haven't noticed anything, and it's uses almost no space. So its initial backup might take, for me, it took about maybe a couple minutes, and then it uses what's called differential backups from then going out, and those backups take seconds. So you don't notice it at all. I still didn't do it. They have an option to do it on boot. I don't like anything running on boot. I like it just to pop right up, be real snappy. So that's why I always just do dailies, and I'm kind of paranoid, so I like to do 2 months out on mine. But most people,
Okay.
5 or 3 on the daily counts are good.
when you use Windows 10, do you back up with software your files or folders, or just back up hard drives, Chris?
Usually, if it's for business, usually I have a master image
Okay.
where it has all the core software that's being
Right.
used in there, and then I'll just flash and push those out.
Got
And
it.
there's a variety of tools I've used over the years to do that master image. But for my personal stuff, as far as
Yeah.
files on there, I could literally just light a computer on fire and walk away at my work. It doesn't matter to me. I don't keep anything on there that I can't
Okay.
already do. So as I save a file, like let's say I'm working on something at my job, I have it all immediately back up to either Dropbox or Google
Got
Drive, pick your poison on that.
Oh, okay.
And all of it is just stored right there. So then if that computer, I just need to dump it, or let's say someone has a computer go down and they need this particular one, I can just flash it and then just give it to them. Takes
All right.
couple seconds.
Do you trust? You mentioned Dropbox and Drive. Do you trust cloud services at home?
It depends on what it is. So,
Okay.
if it's something, Social Security tax returns or something like that, I would not trust any cloud service, period.
Fair enough.
That should be saved. I'm kind of old school. I like that saved off on some kind of removable media and put in
That's
an
what I
actual
do.
fireproof safe.
Okay.
I think that's the safest thing. And, Dropbox, I'll tell you one story about that is I put on a pretty large image up into the cloud, Dropbox's cloud, and it said it uploaded in about 10 seconds. And I was like, that's impossible. That was a half a gig file on a 10 meg connection. There's just not possible. So someone else already had that file on there. So the type of things they do on those cloud services, they don't segregate your data at all. I think there's something running in the background that is actually I know there's something running in the background that says, hey, these ones and zeros are already here, it's over here. And then they just say, okay, it's uploaded. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And they just do a reference to where that data is.
I'll use Google Drive because it's convenient. It just is on my phone, on my machines. I've used Dropbox for videos. I will back up my videos, not all of them. Like the short news feeds between 1 and 5 minutes, I'd want to back up that. It's just a news, like an FYI. But the shows, I'll back up to external hard drives, and I'll transcode the some of the live shows to a podcast format, upload it to the archive.org. Which is a free service, and you can even upload your videos if you want to. I trust it. It works and it's simple, and I'll tell my viewers you can even download the podcast for free if you want to, which is Total OS Today Live, by the way, if you want to go to archive.org. I don't do a lot, just some here and there because it's simple. It works. But Drive does work. Do I trust it for everything? No. But for my videos, for a few odds and ends, yeah. But I mean, I won't post personal like tax documents. Photos, I don't care because I'm not, I'm not doing anything, shady or naked or anything, But who me? Yeah. But no, I don't. I mean, you'll never see me on Drive, drunk. Hey, Linux really is great. No, but
I've been
I think I posted.
I've been really careful lately though with where I put my kids' photos, because
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard they can end up in weird places, so be careful
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that.
yeah. That, yes. Yeah. Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, that I don't have any of my son's photos online, at least not that I'm aware of. Again, backed up to just USB drives, external drives, no software, no time shift. Just back them up to external drives. I put them away so I know where they're at. Just drag and drop. I like to keep it simple. Um, let's see here. Looking at the crash plan will let me store an offsite backup for disaster recovery. That's what it's called, crash plan. It sounds like a test for like crash test dummies there, Mark. Crash plan. Archive.org is good for humanity. I agree. They've been around a long time. I think it's a nonprofit. I think they work on donations. I think. I'm not sure, but that's why I've been posting stuff for the last few years. A lot of the early stuff with I did with podcasts with IG. Infinitely Galactic is on there too. So my first podcast I remember was 2011. Yeah, many moons ago. It's Linux compatible. Okay, Mark. All right. I know I'm keeping track of time. I think Chris needs to leave here in about 10 minutes, Chris, if that sounds right. So if there are any questions for him or for us, post them in the live chat. I don't want to keep Chris away from his family. So.
Hey, Chris. So you've been talking about time shift. How different? Now it's a snapshot, kind of like what Microsoft's recovery.
Yeah, so they're fundamentally different. Microsoft's recovery does full one-to-one copies usually when using their system image deal, and I don't particularly like that. And if you are using Windows, don't use the Microsoft product, and even Microsoft will tell you that. You can use Acronis. There's a variety of other software that you can use as well. Personally, Backup Assist is a really good one if you're looking for an affordable, business-based solution. Or you can install, software as far as just backing up your whole drive to the cloud if you want to go that way. I'm trying to think of the name of the software I've used in the past for people in that regard that encrypts it all and stores it in the cloud. But I'll see if I can't find that real fast because that's really good if you're concerned with backups on Windows.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on my Linux machine, so I finally got a new my backup hard drive went. Problem because I was probably going between my system and my son's Windows system if I couldn't take it anymore. But I started using GRSync to just back up all my folders, and I had noticed it backed up my first three, and then it was showing progress. And when I look at the hard drive, the next couple of folders that I backed up weren't showing up on that hard drive, but it showed that the process went, because I do the test first and then I run GRSync. With time shift, is it strictly snapshots or is it a backup program too?
Yeah, so it's pretty much a backup. There's an option when you boot into it that depends if you're using ButterFS, which you're probably not. You're probably using ext4 if you're an Ubuntu user, or rsync. So rsync is almost a full backup, and then it calls it snapshots, but it is a legitimate backup to where you could restore it. It's called that mainly because on ButterFS, it uses something called atomic swapping on those backups to where when you go to restore it, instead of the rsync way where it copies all the data back over, it does this swap where it takes just seconds instead of several minutes to copy the data. So that's when I say snapshots, it's used very loosely in time shifts software, where it's actually not really. I get the point. It is a snapshot, but in a traditional sense, not really.
I think with software like that, like time shift, and I think the other one in Ubuntu, I think it's just called backups. Unless you're messing with like cutting edge software, OSs like Arch, or something like that, or installing graphics drivers or experimental drivers as they were. If you put that aside, I don't see a polished Linux desktop system just failing to boot or crashing today. I just don't see it. I mean, I'm talking specific, not, again, not Archbase or nothing like that, where it's,
I think, yeah, any LTS release, you should be pretty
I don't
good
think
for
you
a long
need.
while.
Yeah, now if you're gonna, I had one crash one time when I tried to install those special graphics drivers a long time ago. Spatry made a joke, "Hey, TOS has those AMD drivers." I'm like, "Shut up," But that was the only time where it wouldn't boot or whatever. But yeah, lately, with Ubuntu, Linux Mint, LTS, even non-LTSs have gotten better nowadays. I've noticed you really shouldn't have to use like time. I'm not saying you don't use it. I guess I'm saying is I don't use it because that's another extra piece of work I need to do, and I just don't want to do it. But I have multiple computers, so if this one died, go to the backup. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I think
using,
yeah. So time shift I know is standard in Linux Mint nowadays. With the latest releases. So yeah.
I believe there is one limitation with time shift that you can't back up to a NAS. Is that correct?
That is correct. You cannot do network attached storage on that, and that is a big deal for many users and a stopping point. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay. Yeah, I used to make backup images of Windows on DVDs. I haven't done that in a long time. In fact, this one I haven't backed up. I guess I should. But there's not much on that Windows 10 because I'm using much more Ubuntu Mate more. So if that Windows 10 hard drive crashed, there's really nothing on there where I would lose my mind, So I don't care. Yeah, just one of those things. I just don't care anymore. So, I was trying to do a 30-day test. Chris, can I live without Linux for 30 days and just use Windows 10? I gave up in 2 weeks, not because Windows 10 didn't work, because it has the original hard disk drive versus a solid state drive. It's so slow. It's slow to start with. So I said, you know what? What am I proving? Windows 10 is stable. It works. Assuming there are no bad updates, it's going to work. That's the bottom line,
I don't know, man. Windows lately has just really tanked quite a bit.
Well, I know some of the updates that we talked about. It didn't happen to me though, for whatever reason. It just didn't.
So, like I went literally a whole month without booting into Windows.
Okay.
And then I still have some other stuff. Like I have an Oculus and some other stuff here that I need Windows for, and I can't cheat my way through it with like a VM.
Yeah.
And we booted back into Windows to play some like Beat Saber and some other stuff using Oculus, and dude, it was one heck of it. It just grinded my computer. I got 16 cores here, guys. It's a beast of a machine, all solid state. The Windows is on solid state.
Yeah.
It booted in there, and it just grinded away for a good solid 30 minutes on a gig connection, downloading all kinds of stuff. I'm talking 5 to 6 gigs just on updates.
I can't defend that. No, it's more complicated than it had. I would agree there. I would totally agree. But I only boot into Windows nowadays for the updates or to play a game. I love my Asphalt 8 Airborne. It's like a Need for Speed. It's awesome on Windows,
Yeah, why hadn't you put that on Linux?
I'm not a big fan of Wine or this other stuff. I tried it before. It wasn't for me. No. I'm the type, if you got to use Windows software, use a Windows OS. Same thing with Linux. But that's my opinion.
Blasphemy. That's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to push more people into Linux and get that Windows software working just fine for them.
I cannot in good conscience recommend that yet. Now, maybe you've had better luck in that sauce, but I can't. In my previous test, I cannot go there yet. Not yet.
I made a whole series Windows games on Linux, and I'm about to release episode 8 tomorrow. And each episode I pick a new thing of some software that doesn't work natively in Linux, or at least not officially supported by Proton and Steam, and then I just go after it. I try to buckle it down to where your grandma could follow the instructions and get it going. And that's kind of my thing. Is I think you can get everything in Windows running in Linux just fine, because I've done all kinds of virtualization.
I think that's great, but here's the thing. When you do that, there's still a possibility that something will not go right. And if it's a newbie who's not as knowledgeable or experienced as we are, they'll say, man, Linux sucks. And I don't want them to say that. So I'm better off saying I don't recommend that. Just keep it simple, and chances are your system is going to be stable. Now, if they become more advanced after a couple years and they do it, well, then I could say, well, you knew what you were doing, or didn't you? So.
I think if you make a good enough tutorial, they can follow it, and then if they run into problems, you teach them the support channels to follow, and then that way, it's one of those, you teach you give a man a fish he eats for a day, you teach a
Mm-hmm.
man the fish he eats for a lifetime kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm kind of coming from. I think getting rid of Windows altogether and having Windows apps that you absolutely need, like as gaming goes, some people, a lot of
Yeah.
people say, hey, gaming
Yeah.
is where it's not
Yeah.
happening. And I'm like, no, it's really gone off these last couple months. And I think that's where we can change a lot of these stigmas around it. And then getting it to work, I found some Windows games work better in Linux and are more stable in Linux than on Windows. So that's a bold statement, but
I have never believed that, and I haven't tested it lately, to be fair. But at least in my mind, I'm not going to recommend that route for newbies. Now, if you become a little more advanced, you want to do it. But I've always believed if you have to use Apple Mac software, buy Apple. You got to use one in Linux and so on. But that's the only way to be 100% sure, in my opinion. But that's strictly my opinion.
Yeah. Agree to disagree on that one.
Nothing wrong with that. If it works, great. But until we have a national standard for Linux, I can't go that way. Anyway, Super Tux Card is great, Sleepy. Yes. Mm-hmm. I love the fly swatter. It just cracks me up. I don't know why, but try running Halo on Linux if you can. The very first Halo game.
Yeah, man, I'm taking a bunch of requests, so everyone
try Halo. I got a feeling that will not work right.
The only thing I've not just got completely stumped on is when I have to do something below board, as far as modifying the executable to work, such as like Fortnite. I can get it working, but it requires me to change a lot of how the executable sees, like the anti-cheat. So there's an anti-cheat that runs in the background that says, hey, is this person using an aimbot? There's ways to get around that, but that's not really a solution. So those are the only ones that are kind of gotchas.
Fair enough.
That I haven't gotten working quite yet. But almost every other game I've tried really hard to get working, I'm able to do it. The only ones I can't is when there's an anti-cheat or an anti-DRM, like de novo-based games, like Resident Evil's heavy on it. I can do it, but it requires me taking off the DRM associated with the game to get it to run on Linux. But almost everything runs on Linux.
I think we get into a danger where there might be a little bit of information overload for newbies, like we had talked before. So I'm not saying it's not going to work like Chris says, but for newbies, for newbies who will say Linux, blah, 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 that's what I mean. Just in the beginning,
I get you.
Yeah.
I'll post a little website just in case anybody's wondering about a game. ProtonDB.com actually has a whole database of Steam-based games, and it tells you what kind of compatibility it has, whether or not it will play or not on Linux.
Chris, it's 11, so whenever you need to go, you just tell us and go, okay? So.
All right, well, I'll probably jump off right now, guys. I still got to get a bunch of stuff ready. I got to put the kids down, and then I actually am probably going to be doing a live stream later tonight, too. So I'm going to go ahead and peace out, and I appreciate you bringing me on and introducing me to everybody.
Well, let's do it again.
For sure, man.
Nice meeting you, Chris.
This was nice,
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Nice to meet you guys.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
All right.
Very nice, Caroline.
Yeah, we got on. It was our first time chatting. We got on, chatted privately, started at 9:30, and I was cracking jokes about I'm watching the. Guess what channel I'm watching? Hallmark. So he's a family guy, so he understands. I guess married couple kids. So we chatted before he went live, and then he told me he won't be able to stay on tonight because he's doing another thing. I said, not a problem. You just do what you got to do. DT is in the house. Speaking of stable.
Hello, Derek.
So I will stick on a little bit longer. Chris had to leave. DT, do you want to join for a little bit? Paula Wells says, thank you, Paula. I think we're able to get most questions answered. I don't think I missed. If missed anybody, I'm sure I did. Everybody in the chat, hello, of course. Last night's the Ubuntu show, the first one, is up. If you want to catch it on Patreon, if you want to help support the channel, that show was a thank you from me to all of you. Those of you want to watch it, that one's up. I did a second one today. I scheduled one today, but nobody came on. It was kind of late minute. I had one scheduled for like 1 o'clock my time. So the next one will be next weekend. Steve and Vince.
Yeah, I was at work till 3 today.
I figured, yeah, I don't usually work on the weekend, so it's a good time for me. But
Did you email that? Did you email that? I don't believe I saw anything about that.
For today, I think I did. If I
didn't receive anything.
I thought I did, but you know what? It would have been just a repeat of last night.
That would explain
it was
why
nothing new.
Came.
Yeah.
You didn't send anything else.
I thought I did. I said I sent a bunch of, maybe I missed it, but it was a repeat of last night, so it wasn't anything new. It was for primarily for the people who missed it, you know. But no one came on anyway, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You don't notify anyone. You know what's going on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it just would have been a repeat of what we talked, kind of like a recap. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like a football game's over here, the highlights, you know, or the lowlights in my case, haha. But no, but next week's one may be during the day, just to get the people of different time zones to chime in. You know, either Saturday or Sunday during the day. Steve, do you work on Sundays or are you off on Sundays?
No, if all goes right, I'm always off on Sundays.
Okay, so I'm thinking maybe
that's why
next.
I do my stream in the morning.
I kind of figured that, so I might do one next Sunday after lunchtime, after like 12 or 1 local time, and do that one then. Try to get different people to chime in. You know, it's impossible, but different time zones. I'm just not gonna hit everybody. It's impossible. So, you know, but that's where that's at. DT, yeah. Let me get DT in here.
So there's a question in the chat from Central P. If when Ubuntu is bought by Microsoft and rebranded, Microsoft Linux, then would you still use it? I don't know. I don't see that happening, but
yeah, for a long time, I was convinced that was going to happen. But I think that they're moving towards going public, aren't they? Canonical.
I think Canonical wants to do an IPO.
Yeah, they're going to go
not
public.
Mistaken. So I think they're up to something. You know, here we are speculating, and maybe they already have plans for a standard Linux desktop. Who the heck knows?
Actually, that was a thought I had yesterday after yesterday's show.
They may, yeah. So maybe I'm just going to give them like a little push. Come on, you can do it. Do it. I'll be like Arnold. Do it. You can do it. Wow, you know.
I think
Mark
if they do that,
yeah.
Go on.
I said Mark Shuttleworth won't want to end up in a caddy trunk, so.
Yeah, that's right. I need to get him on the shelf to respect the family, okay?
I was going to say, if they do end up going public, I think that'll actually create more of an incentive for them to push for more profit. And if that happens, I think there'll be more chance you will get a more widely distributed distro.
I was going to save this for one of the Ubuntu shows, but I was thinking, like, if I'm a Wall Street guy or a what do you call them, venture capitalists, okay, an investor, and my job is to take the millions that I haven't reserved, and my job is to spend that for the next big thing, the next, Ubuntu or the next Facebook. That's my job. What would I look for? Well, obviously, you're going to look for talent, something that's not on the market yet. You're going to look for the resources available to make that product. In this case, it's Ubuntu. But I think the number one thing I would look for is the customer, is the customer base, is the consumer out there, is the excitement out there. That's what I would look at. So if someone's doing a show and there's 1,000 people or tens of thousands getting into this, that's going to get somebody with power, with the money, that's going to get it noticed. No guarantee it's going to be, produced, as it were. But Ubuntu has spread and worked because it took a few years, but it's been because, number one, it is stable for the most part, and they have a great user base that's loyal. That is the customer base. And, of course, they've done great on the business side. Hey, DT.
Hey, what's up?
All right. But that's how I see it, So, Stephen Anderson says you played Pac-Man. I remember Pac-Man, yeah. And Rita is in the house.
And a banana.
Peabody says, DT, you have hair.
Oh yeah, I haven't shaved in a couple of days. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, DT's body is the opposite. When he has unstable bugs, he actually grows hair versus losing it. You know.
Yeah. But they are right. It's time. Yeah.
Are you still on suckless?
What was it?
Are you still on suckless?
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, I got off work about 3 hours ago, and I have been trying to patch DWM ever since, and I've only added 2 patches. So that should tell you how complicated some of yeah. This is crazy. I'm having a good time though. It's educational.
You have an unusual definition of a good time, but okay.
So when TOS mentioned unstable, he was right this time. Things are very unstable right now on my machine. So
Yeah. Let's not make Derek the spokesperson for a stable national distro. Yeah, it's not going to work. No.
no.
And Rita, we got Chris Titus from Chris Titus Tech on YouTube. Check him out. Great guy, family guy, knows self-learning, self-taught Linux like me, Windows user like me. Yeah, he does more advanced stuff or some advanced stuff. So yeah, check it out. That's who we had on the show. He couldn't stay on long. Kids, family, and he had some other things going on. So hopefully we'll have him on again. It was a great chat. But that's who that was. And Rita, Jan. Hello, Jan. Good evening. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting Biddle was on tonight. Yeah.
You're like the late night bar, Carmine.
Yeah, I'm the leftover guy. Yeah, after all the guys have a good time drunk, then they come here to get drunk. Tosses up. Okay. Anyway.
Do any of you guys use the Vivaldi browser?
Yeah, sometimes.
Because there must have been an update because I only launch it when I join TOS on Hangouts. Because Firefox doesn't do Hangouts that well. There is some weird like tab feature going on at the top of the browser now. Like it previews like tabs at the very top of the window. Like a third of the browser window now is like previews of tabs.
DT, can you crank up your volume just a notch?
Yeah.
Seems like it's a little bit, yeah.
I tried it. I mean, someone chastised me for using Google the other day, but there's too many tabs and all that stuff. It's like almost overkill on Vivaldi.
It's nice. I mean, for me, just to keep it simple on the Hangouts, I just use Chrome because it's the same family, as it were. Mm-hmm. I don't use Vivaldi. I'm more like a web browser, like Hopper versus distro Hopper. But from what I've seen, it seems I think I was able to use Vivaldi to log into my Instagram and upload a few photos from the browser versus having to upload them from my phone. I found that like a little trick that way.
Oh, okay.
You know, but yeah.
How's the volume now?
That is better. That is better. Yeah.
I figured it out. Yeah, I could disable the tabs. So
okay, all right.
You can actually drag it from the address bar, so you can resize the little previews.
Of course, disabling the tabs doesn't help me. It disables all tabs. I just did not want a gigantic preview at the top of the screen.
So if you hover over the address bar at the top of it, it'll change to a little resize arrow, and you can just drag it away, up and down. If you can see that.
Oh well, we're good now. It was annoying having the previews up, so I'll play with it some other time. Like I said, I only use this for TOS, so
okay.
I would not have Vivaldi on my system if it wasn't for you, TOS.
Oh,
well,
the
you
things
know what?
I do to join this show.
What are unstable friends? Wait a minute, I'm not unstable. I was gonna say what are unstable friends for, but that's not me. No. You know what? I use Hangouts because it works. It's stable, you know, and I use it in Windows and Linux. I don't have to download or install anything. It seldom crashes. I think it's crashed maybe once in many shows. I give credit where credit is due. So Google, as far as Hangouts goes, thumbs up. Now I want to commission on all the telemetry. No, I'm just kidding. But but putting that aside, It works, so I use it. And it's great for newbies. There's not a lot of configuring or figuring it out. It just, anyway, but that's why I use it. So yeah. I believe DT has done an Arch install video, Steven. Haven't you, DT?
Yeah, we got a couple of them you can check out.
Okay, yeah.
It's not that difficult. If you kind of know what you're doing, once you get used to it, you can have like the base Arch install done. And
I started doing it one night, but I'm like, I'm not in the mood for the terminal. Goodbye. I stopped. I just say I'm just not in the mood,
Yeah.
Can you reprogram the ECM in the car you own? What, the computer module? You probably could if you had the right tools there, Mugen. Yeah. I have one of those scan tools that scans the codes, when it says service engine soon, and pop that in, and but that's as far as I go. My cat, well, it says, yeah, do an Arch install video. I'll have to get a bottle of aspirin first over at Rite Aid Pharmacy just to have it ready. Yeah. Let's see here. Where is Proton leading to? To a world of Linux games? We're closing us off from new Linux games due to compatibility. This is T-Netro. I don't know. Maybe Chris can answer that next week, since he's the Windows gaming master for Linux. It seems he has a lot of experience. That I don't know. Doesn't matter if we still get games which run on Linux. That's a good question. Yeah, if there's Windows games that I want to, I'll just boot into Windows. And now that I have two separate drives, it's not that big of a deal, really. So,
yeah, I'm not much of a gamer, so I'm a bad person.
I play some, like I say in fact, I need to download the latest Super text card. I heard it's pretty nice. And then in Windows, I'll play Asphalt 8.
Yeah, I mean, not counting Super Tux Kart and Battle of West North and some of those classic Linux free and open source games. But I don't get on Steam much.
No, I'm not into the gaming thing as much. I mean, I'll buy. I can't think of the last time I bought a physical game for Xbox. Maybe it was the last Halo 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. I think I bought something for my son, James Bond or something, and that was it. But I think the next Halo game is coming out this year, and maybe I'll buy that for $60 because I like the whole Halo universe. Soundtracks, books. It's more than just the game. It's more, what I mean? It's more entertaining. So yeah, it's worth $60 for what they do. I mean, they try to put a lot of time and money into those projects, so it's worth it. Asphalt 9 is out. Yeah, Steve. I actually have to download it in the on my Windows 10 drive. Yeah, I love Asphalt 8 Airborne, or Asphalt 9 now. Yeah, it's great. It's like Need for Speed. I was watching. First I was watching Fast and Furious. Then I was watching Star Wars: Return of the Jedi, and a Chromebook commercial came on. Good timing. And I'm like, why can't we have an Ubuntu commercial? Feel the power of Ubuntu, or something like that, So, that would get people's attention,
Yeah.
And then you can have another, silly commercial for Ubuntu, I think the marketers would be creative, and there's something new with a kind of a funny name, but I think it would work, All right, Omega Beast. Take care.
We have a lot of funny names in free and open source software, TOS. You know this.
I never would have guessed. Dead Beef Player Master.
That's my favorite music player. I was going to bring up Dead Beef.
Dead Beef, yeah. Banshee. Is Banshee still around? I think it is. Yeah, Banshee Player, yeah.
Yeah.
Chaos OS. I'm sorry, KOS, spelled chaos. Yeah, that's really reassuring, yeah.
Well, Void. I mean, you can run
Void. Yeah, you install it and it shows nothing. Well, it is Void. Hello. The Void. I know Void. Yeah. In fact, let me hop on to Distro Watch real quick just to look at some of these names. It's been a while since I've been to Distro Hunt or Watch rather. Yeah, let me see here. Just out of curiosity. The new Parrot Porteous. That sounds like a movie, Porteous. Anyway, let's see here. Find out some funny names. All right, so Manjaro's still on top. Of course it is. Ubuntu number 5, that's ridiculous in my opinion. It should not be that low. I like Arco Linux. I keep thinking of the oil company. Arco, Arco. Yeah, are they still? I think they are. Yeah. Endless OS is good. Like endless bugs, endless installations, endless reboots, endless what? Let's see. True OS, is that the upgrade from False OS?
You took a look at True OS.
Yeah, it was not my favorite. No.
Oh, I hated it. Yeah.
Yeah. I like forget about it. There's Void number that's ranked at 56. Okay. Clear OS is actually a good name. Clear OS. I don't know what's that based on. Clear.
That's Intel's Linux distro.
Is that what it is? Okay. Yeah. I like the name Clear. Black Arch sounds like a government contractor. But that's Blackwater. Blackwater. Yeah. Let's see here. Rosa. Sounds like an adult distribution, but
they were talking about that on Biddle today because that was their thing of the week, and it did not get. I guess it's so old in a way.
Oh, okay.
The Russian based distribution.
Okay. Ostrumi. I'm thinking of pastrami. you pour a little ostrumi on top of your pastrami. I mean, that's for food comes into my mind.
Yeah.
Let's see. Emma Buntos.
Wow, that's Toast. Did you say Toast?
Emma Toast. Yeah, Toast. Right.
Pastrami OS.
Triskel. I think of biscuits you buy in the box, like a Triscuit. Let's see. Dragonfly sounds like a martial art. I study Dragonfly. Grasshopper. Chaos. I love that. Kodachi. I'm thinking of Kodak. Kodachi. I don't know what that is. Kodachi OS. I like Sparky Linux. That's a great name, Sparky. Like it's gonna jump at you. Say, hey, listen, Sparky. Then the rest, I guess, is okay. But yeah, MX Linux is number 2. Wow, nice. I don't know how accurate this is, but it's good to see it. MX is good. MX is good. So, Stephen, you love distro hopping. Well, good for you.
I've slowed down on the distro hopping myself.
It gets tiring, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Constantly breaking things and then fixing them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find something that works. Just break it and then fix that, but I don't reinstall anything new.
Yeah. There's something new. Project Trident. Sounds like a government thing. Oh, it's for BSD.
I believe that's a fork of your True OS, isn't it?
It is. Okay. Yeah. I guess I won't be testing it.
No, it still uses that Lumina desktop that you.
Is that what? That was really. I was like, what is this? Yeah. I don't know how. What were they thinking when they? Man. Anyway. What software is being used to run this live stream? Tinetro P. I am right now in Ubuntu Mate 18.10, non-LTS, but seems stable enough. Google Chrome, Hangouts, Logitech C920, Logitech. Well, this is a Logitech headset, but any Logitech equipment's fine. But as far as the actual software, it's Ubuntu Mate and Hangouts, and that's it. Simple. Yeah, Hannah Montana. Yeah, Hannah Montana is Linux number 1. Okay.
And you're using OBS to stream?
Not for this. Just not straight Hangouts. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have to. I just don't have to. The way. I mean, you can if you want a little more control, but do I? I didn't have to. It works the way it is. So yeah. I mean, if I wanted to save it as as we're talking.
Yeah, you don't record it.
I let YouTube, put it on their server. Then I go to my window manager and hit download.
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing too. Except recently, I realized I wanted some of my live streams, like I want to take all my stuff and have them on a site other than YouTube. Mirror them somewhere else.
I see.
And I have all my pre-recorded stuff saved because I had to save it to a hard drive anyway to edit them. But the live streams, like you, I never bothered saving. So now I have to try to rip all those off of YouTube, and that's going to be a pain.
Well, the download isn't. I mean, it's not that hard, but I don't really need to save everything. You know what I mean? A lot of times, like when I do the short news blurbs, I don't need to save that. Now the live shows, I'll download them. It's no big deal. Sometimes I'll transcode them to a podcast format up to the archive.org if somebody wants to download and take it with them. But it's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. I mean, if I save them on an OBS, then transcode them, I save a step, I guess. But just hit download MP4 from that video on YouTube, and it's fine. I mean, it's no big deal, yeah.
And Anna Rita in the chat is asking why save the streams. Well, like I said, if I want to put it on a different site other than YouTube, then I need to have a physical copy of it to upload to somewhere else.
Or if you want to download it and transcode it and cut out into a podcast format, truncate some of the silence, Anna Rita,
Also,
that's why.
What if we have some inappropriate conversation here on TOS's stream tonight and YouTube decides to delete the whole stream?
Yes.
But you know what? There was some good stuff in there he really wanted to make a video with later, maybe clip something.
Yeah, but I would get demonetized, so it wouldn't matter anyway, But yeah, Henry, that's some of the reason. Mainly for me, the only reason to record would be when I want to transcode it to a podcast. But honestly, clicking download from YouTube, it's not that big of a deal.
And some people edit their live streams, like they'll record a show live, or stream it live, but then they'll go back and actually do the editing and cut out all the dead air and all that, and re-upload it as a proper cut kind of video.
True, that's true. But I try to do less work. There was much less time involved in doing this. After it'll be 9 years this March. So, I try to keep it simple as much as I can. But there's nothing wrong with recording as you're talking. But I'll let YouTube do it. I'll just download it. So, let's see here. Time is it 11? Let's see if we can pick up some odd news. I did a bunch last night. It was funny. You missed it last night, Deet. There was one. What was the one that cracked up Tim? He was choking. What was the joke?
The lumberjack.
It was on Bigfoot. Yeah, there was a headline says Bigfoot uses lumberjack as love slave or something like that. That was an actual headline off one of those questionable, magazines.
You know what
newspaper.
You know what they say about guys with big feet?
Yes. Yeah.
They have big shoes.
Big shoes, that's right. Let's see here. Somebody mentioned this. Family kicked off flight over body odor. I guess it's a first time for everything.
No, it probably is not the first time something like that's happened.
Yeah, I know. Pope launches Click to Pray app. Wow. I guess... Do you need an app to talk to the boss? I mean, I guess times have changed. I don't know. It seems odd. Okay. I guess there's nothing blasphemous about that, is there? It sounds like click to pay, but you're gonna pray. But hi Anna Rita. You like the joke? Us men are all the same. Yes. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Anna Rita, quiet. Man questioned over dead raccoon in McDonald's. I won't go there. This is from last week. Police seek prowler film licking a doorbell.
Okay.
Okay. Man caught smuggling live kittens in his trousers.
Wow.
Okay, he got... I can't say that joke.
No. I was about to go there too.
Yeah, I can't. If we were not broadcasting, fine. But yeah, okay.
This is why you need to save the live streams in case
I
go
know.
back and edit.
I usually catch myself. Yeah. I usually bite my.
You don't have the bleeper like they do on live TV.
I don't have the bleeper here. Is there bleeper built in Hangouts? I don't think so. Yeah. Let's see here. Police recover stolen house. They think that. Okay. Wow.
It's a double wide trailer, I'm assuming.
I with his Ram truck, yeah. Wow. Saudi police arrest man in camel urine scam. That's. I'm not even gonna go there. Yeah. Let's see here. Yes, federal agents raid gun shop, find weapons. But a bump bump. Yeah. All right, let's move on here. Museum defends. Wow, historic. I can't go there. Really? Museum? Okay. Can't say that one. That's odd. This is from last month. I can't. How can I put this? They defend acquisition of historic. I don't know how to clean this up. Never mind. This is from last month. Santas go on rampage in New York. Ho ho ho. Pfft. Okay. A drunk driver gives police. Where's Joe tonight? A drunk driver gives police hamburger instead of license. Guess he liked to ham it up. Woman guilty of sitting on boyfriend to kill him. Oh my God. Oh.
Hello, Tom.
Oh my
guess she was a healthy girl.
Whew. Okay. Call Santa. This is from last week. Call Santa app threatens to kill children. Alrighty then. Very good. Let's move on. So yeah, where is Joey tonight? Anyway, let's move on to something else. We'll probably wrap this up soon. I'm starting to get tired, so let's go to this one. How big was Shiana? Yeah, I guess yeah. Let's see here. Mother seen dancing to Backstreet Boys during snowy, gridlocked traffic. Well, good for her.
One of the best concerts I ever went to was Backstreet Boys.
No kidding. Okay.
Many years back. Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay. Let's see here. Anything here? Now I won't use political stuff. To heck with that. Exploring the strange, dangerous charm of keeping a saltwater crocodile as a pet. That's not charming. Sorry. You know what I might do next week? Because Valentine's Day is coming up. I looked it up today out of curiosity, just what Valentine gifts men would want, and it was weird, like strange. You would think that the number one gift would be, for the man and woman to be romantic. That was not number one. I won't spoil it. I mean, I know what the women want, more or less, but the man thing surprised me. Food was on there, beer, whiskey, But maybe we'll do that next Friday. Maybe we'll see.
The food
we need to have a
thing
lot of the
doesn't
girls
surprise
on the
me.
show. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Of course, food. Yeah.
Makes sense.
That's right. Let's go on the next page. Here, see what we got. Oh, I've seen this Hallmark show before. I think. Okay, never mind. I'm still watching Hallmark. I don't know why, but Anna Rita says foot rub. Okay. I wouldn't mind a neck rub. Well, if I had a significant other. A message? You mean a massage, not a message. Yes, for Valentine's I want a message. Q1 Fee wants pizza. Okay. Let's go here.
Well, you can go to White Castles and they'll have tablecloths and all that stuff for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Need to take the dog out. What, for Valentine? Oh, you just need to take the dog out. Okay, all right, got it. I thought kind of threw me off there. Let's see what else we have here. I think that's one of the reasons why I watch Hallmark, because there's always nice-looking girls on there. Always, you know. You're just not gonna have like that woman who sat on her boy to kill him. Not gonna have that kind of stuff on the Hallmark, you know. Anyway, let's see here. Those are kind of dark stories. I won't go there. Let's go to this one. Boy wins science fair with project calling Tom Brady a cheater. I wonder how he did that. Huh. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. A rare penny found in cafeteria change to sell at auction. Wow. 1943 bronze Lincoln. I wonder how much that is worth. Okay. Drivers stop to chase cash on highway. As a wreck waiting to happen. Church says nuns embezzle thousands to cover gambling trips to Vegas. Let us pray. PETA wants you to stop saying bring home the bacon. Ha ha. Let's go there. Wow, you could face jail time for leaving your dog out in the cold. I would have to agree. If you're going to be that cruel, yeah. What's this, in Spain? Bull kills self after partygoers set its horns ablaze. Oh, jeez. What's wrong with people? God.
Wow.
My goodness. Yeah.
What kind of party was that? Yeah.
A load of bull, I guess. Yeah. Let's see here. Those are dark too. Yeah, scrap that.
Yeah, you
Rolls
really
Royce
brought
car
down the
company.
mood here.
SUV. Huh?
I said you really brought down the mood after that bull
I guess
story.
so. I was on a roll for a while. Let's. What was the one I was on to last night that was funny? Stupid headlines. Is that what it was last night? I think I was that last night. Let me go to there. Let's do that one. You can usually find a few good ones there. That's cruel. Yeah, I would have to agree, Paula. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily want to be friends with the bull, but there's no reason for me to set it on fire. So, yeah. Headline, a nuclear explosion would be a disaster. Could have fooled me. Let's go to this one. Ridiculous headlines. I'm always looking for that. I have that ridiculous technology headline. I just haven't seen one yet. That's what I'm looking for. I just don't see it. Man leads police on a wild chase, gets caught because he stopped to pet some cats. Oh, he has a heart. Come on, Judge, cut us some slack. Yeah, switches. That sounds like a bunch of bull. Exactly. Yeah. Survey says Americans getting tired of surveys. All right. A Florida woman calls 911 after McDonald's runs out of McNuggets. Wow. Okay. What else do we have here? I don't want that. A group of this is a sign. A group of students playing hide and seek at the Fine Arts Center caused a faculty member to call the university police. The police arrived but were not able to find any of the students. Those are the police. Okay. Wow. Wolf attacks Russian woman. She kills the wolf. Those are tough Russians, comrade. Dang. Let's see here. Can I say this? This is actually clever. There's a woman out in the woods. I don't know if I could say this. Proud mom cuts her, and starts with the B, into shape of her son's face, and it's an actual wooden, on the woods, big bush tree thing, that's she cuts her. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was kind of clever, but she actually has pretty good talent. Looks pretty good. Yeah. Anything else here? Nah, nothing good there. You love that movie, Benjamin? Which one?
Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Oh, okay. Let's go to this one. Why do Italians talk with their hands? I don't know, my cat. Why? Let's see here. Nothing good there. I mentioned this last night. Threat disrupts plans to meet about threats. Let's see. Nothing good there. Go to the next page. And let's try, what haven't I tried yet? Let's try this one. A Florida man has the world's greatest criminal alias ever. Oh. All right, the cops call this kidnapper the dumbest criminal of the year. Let me click that and see what that says. The suspect told his victims to meet him the next day with $1,500. Guess what happened? Okay. All right, I got that one. A DUI suspect allegedly claimed dog was driving car. Yeah, that works all the time.
Well, it is a big fine, Toss. I can understand why you might want to try to play that angle if you have a dog in the car with you.
Woof.
While you're driving drunk.
Right, yeah.
I hope it was buckled in.
Yeah, at least, but yeah, right, yeah. Man threatens neighbor over bike riding lessons. Wow. pothead robs 7-Eleven with chainsaw.
Oh,
There's a guy literally with a planter pot on his head. Oh God!
One of the clay pots, or
Yeah,
plastic?
he's wearing. Yeah. Okay. Alleged thief caught on camera molesting a mannequin. And that's the clean headline. I won't go there. Let's see here. Stealing a car to get to court for car theft. You did a ride. Let's see here. These aren't good. Man arrested for throwing spear at moving car. He was probably drunk. A spear, huh? I've heard a lot of things, but that's crazy.
Did he hit the car?
I don't know.
I mean, that'd be tough.
A $3,000 toilet stolen from Japanese bathroom.
no crap.
No crap, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Star Wars villain robs 3 convenience stores. I gotta read that. The Sith are apparently getting their revenge in San Diego. First robbery Monday when the Star Wars loving suspect. Oh, he was wearing a red Sith mask. Okay, I get it. All right. Okay. All right. I get it. You watch too much Star Wars, I guess. Feel the power of the dark side and rob a bank. 300 pounds of marijuana hidden in frozen carrots.
Big darn carrots.
Wow, that's a lot of frozen carrots. Wow.
Really, man. That's yeah, great carrots. Yeah, awesome, mellow. An attorney drops joint in court, promptly resigns. Your Honor, I'm sorry. I did a story podcast last year, a news nonsense with Stephanie, but the headline was in Florida. A lawyer defending his client on arson while his pants catch on fire. He had one of those e-cigarette things, and then I guess it caught on fire. So the lawyer's attorney's pants caught on fire as he was defending his client on arson charges. Can't make that up, man. Liar, liar, pants on fire, right? Oh, God. A naked priest driving while intoxicated in Dearborn. Okay, let us pray. Fake sandwiches stolen by clueless Canadian thief. He stole $70 worth of props. Plastic sandwiches. Okay.
Stuff's pretty chewy, man.
All right, one more page and I'm done with this. Let's see here. Bikini robbery worth $200,000 goes wrong. That's interesting. Truck nuts, a no-no in South Carolina. Okay. An Idaho mechanic discovers $40,000 worth of cocaine hidden in 82-year-old woman's car. Well, I guess it was a little side job for her. I don't know. Ninjas robbed medical pot delivery man. Okay. Intruder caught with his pants down. A stunned New Hampshire resident swung a shovel and hurled vice grips at a pantless intruder sneaking around his home. Hurl vice grips? Okay. Get a grip, dude. All right, enough of that. Let's give this the 5-minute warning and I'm done. Q1 Fiends truck nuts, yeah, the ones that hang on the hitch. I guess that's what they meant. That's what they call them, truck nuts. I guess it is. Yeah.
The 82-year-old lady with all that cocaine in her car. Why didn't she say the dog did it?
Yeah, really.
It's his.
Yeah, yeah. Anthony says they all shop on 6th Avenue. Ha ha. That's funny. Was it a smart toilet? Yes.
And that's all we need. Siri, flush.
Mm-hmm. Really? If you're too lazy to put the plunger in the air, really, you know. Wow. Truck nuts are the decorative things on the back of trucks. They were common in the oil town. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I used to see them around. Yeah.
Okay. So they literally hang crazy guys who were crazy off the or at shore. Anyway, they got caught up in the chat here. Okay. Yeah, we'll caught up. NASA's New Horizons best image of space snowman. Oh yeah, that's that spacecraft that's gone far beyond anything else, hasn't it? I think that's what that is. Well, good for them. Cool. That would be cool to work for NASA and build those robots, robots that land on Mars.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, you were a responsible part of a package of something that flew 100 million miles. Imagine that. Hello, Paul. You're late again. I just getting home from work. Yeah, I'm just about done here, Paul. Yeah. I'll catch you one of these days, man. Yeah. Maybe next weekend, Paul. How much is your book, Switch? Anarita's asking. Oh, there you go. Facebook to integrate WhatsApp, Instagram, and Messenger. I don't know if that's good or bad. YouTube stars warn of impersonation scam. Messages that look like they come from YouTube stars are trying to trick their fans. Look out. So if you get a message from Tony Montana, man, it's not me, okay? It wasn't me. Vodafone puts Huawei rollout in core networks on hold. All right. Anything else in the chat? Because I'm ready to wrap this up. So the ebook is $5.99. Switch. Very good. The new KD Plasma Beta is out.
Not too stable.
Gift card from Kobo. And what's Kobo? Trump's worst day yet. Yeah, probably. Oh my God, a Brazil dam collapse. Ooh, not good. Yeah, bad situation there. I love this ticker app. It's awesome. Kobook ebook retailer. Got it. Okay. Kobo. Sounds like the name of a dog. Here, Kobo. Woo woo. Kobo. Woo woo woo. Advocacy groups are pushing the FTC to break up Facebook. Good luck. Google displays fake phone numbers for some local businesses in Toronto. Okay. Russian YouTube ripping site wins in U.S. court. Interesting. All right. So that's the end of that ticker right there. All right. So I think we're done here. Yeah, nothing else there. Okay. All right. So it looks like, I may not be on tomorrow. I have to get up early Monday morning, so I may not be on tomorrow evening. So I know, Steve, you have something in the morning, right?
Yeah, 8 o'clock Central Time.
That'd be 9 o'clock. You know, that's usually when I wake up right about 9 or quarter till. Then I'll go to your stream while I'm still in bed. That's why I don't show myself, you know, because I'm still in bed. But that's when I wake up to my Alexa wake me up 8:30 or 9 o'clock, you know. But anyway. All right. I guess that's it for tonight. So if you missed any of this, you can replay it. Those who came in later, we had Chris Titus from Chris Titus Tech here on YouTube. He's kind of like me, a Windows user, does more Linuxy stuff, self-taught Linux, family guy. Check him out, Chris Titus Tech. He does a little bit more advanced stuff than I do, which is fine, so check that out. He does some gaming stuff too, and distro hopping. He hasn't learned yet, DT, but he will.
Yeah, he catches up with you.
It does. It's tiring. But yeah, his channels are growing very well. He's I mean the advanced stuff, like the terminal command stuff, may be a little bit too much, but you know he has some newbie stuff on there too. So check it out. It might be able to give you some entertainment. I love his thumbnails. You know, I mean the ones he did on Arch or Manjaro. Day 1 Manjaro, and then day 3. So I called them constipation thumbnails. You know, but. Anyway, yes, he is a good guy. Yes. Anyway, is that a Roman god? What, Kobo? Oh, sounds like a dog's name, like Fido. You know. So, Benjamin cannot distro hop anymore. I hear you, mate. I will distro test, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we get settled into something that works. Keep it. So DT, are you still a Manjaro for your main?
Yeah, that's usually what I use.
And you haven't had any issues?
No. I've had the same installation of Manjaro on this drive. For probably going close to a year.
So
maybe not quite a year.
That's a long time for our Archbase when you think of it. So when you turned on the AUR and doing the multiple updates, that didn't crash anything?
No, I haven't had any major issues.
Interesting. Okay.
No kernel panics, or I haven't had Xorg breaking on me or anything like that. No.
And how often do you update?
I go about 2 weeks between updates. 2
weeks.
Sometimes 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like updating every day because I do feel like if you on a rolling release, if you update every day,
you might.
Odds are things might break on you because you give it a couple of weeks. Hopefully, some of that stuff that would have broke had you taken that update earlier have been worked out by then.
Do you use the AUR?
Oh, yeah. I have. Let me pull up a terminal really quick. I have a lot of packages installed on my system. For an Arch-based system, most people think Arch, you're doing minimal stuff. I have 1,500 packages installed right now.
Holy cow.
including a lot of stuff from the AUR. I have 4 flat packs, 4 snaps, got some app images on the system. I've got it all.
What did I install the other day?
Testing things and recording stuff for the channel. So I install a lot of stuff.
You install
I do need to.
Yeah. I
do
you
need a clean
install
install.
something called C Matrix. That's like a terminal matrix thing. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's called
I have it on
C-Matrix.
everything, on all my
you?
machines.
Okay.
Yeah.
I picked that up last week or so, but yeah, I try not to do too much in the terminal. Not that it scares me anymore, but if it's not required, then why? Benjamin broke FFmpeg. Updated and was fixed. Okay. Using Arco. Yeah, it's great to use a distribution based on oil company. Yep, very slick.
The biggest thing I've had on Manjaro, all Arch-based distros, about 3 months ago, there was a major Python update that broke all your Python apps.
Oh.
And that was kind of a big deal. All you had to do, though, most of those Python apps I installed through the AUR, you need to go back and reinstall them through the AUR, and they recompile on your system and hopefully work after that.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, I wouldn't say that was a major thing. I mean, I knew what happened because it happened to all Arch users. So
okay. So if you what would be your second choice? Say Manjaro wasn't usable, what would you use?
Another Arch-based distro, but assuming Arch isn't available, I would probably
assuming Arch wasn't too,
Debian.
Okay, makes sense. Okay.
I like stable TOS. I've told you this. I do unstable for purposes of YouTube, but I do like stable in real life.
Well, if you say Manjaro is stable, then I have to believe you. But okay. YouTube, DL, GUI, okay. Arch community.
Yeah, somebody's mentioning Arco. I actually am running Arco on one of my laptops. It's great. I've done several installs of Arco on my laptops over the last year, at least 3.
And it's good.
And different versions of Arco. Trying. Every time Eric Dubois comes out with a new version of Arco with a new window manager on it, I always put it on physical hardware and take a look at it.
I think one of the reasons why, another reason I like Ubuntu base, because they have so much in their repositories, the choice, software choice. There's something in there I can use, and chances are it's gonna work. I don't have to worry about something breaking, and that's why I've stuck with it, with Ubuntu based. So, and Debian's been around since the mid 95,
93.
somewhere? 93. Wow. Okay.
It and Slackware, the oldest distros, still
Slackware.
going.
Okay.
Started in 93.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, there you go. So for you newbies out there, Ubuntu base, this probably should be your first test. Then go from there. One of these days, I might give plain Arch a try. I just wasn't in the mood for the terminal that night. I downloaded it. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do it. So Paul used XFC Arco. Okay. Nice. All right, gentlemen, I'm done for this evening, and I'll catch you next time.
Well, thanks for the invite again, Carmine.
All right, Steve, I might catch you in the morning. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Have a good night, everyone.
Take care.
All right. Take care. See y'all.
Bye-bye.
Peace, guys.